Hello learners, welcome to session 4 of Unit 6, Peer Assessment Techniques. So peer assessment strategy seeks to empower students to take ownership over their own learning, just like the use of self-assessment. This session discusses some reasons for engaging students in peer assessment and the ways of using peer assessment in classrooms. I am Munkaila Dasmani, your course instructor for this course. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain what is meant by peer assessment, explain why it is important to engage students in peer assessment, also explain some challenges associated with the use of self and peer assessment in mathematics classrooms. Okay. Peer assessment. What is peer assessment? Peer assessment strategy seeks to empower students to take ownership over their own learning, just like the use of self-assessment, as I've mentioned earlier. You need to share the learning targets, instructional objective with students, and what is expected of them, so that they take ownership and responsibility for the kind of work they have to do in order to achieve stated targets. Peer assessment requires active involvement of students in providing feedback to peers. So we are looking at reasons for engaging students in peer assessment. That's according to Black et al. 2003. They identified 3 reasons for using peer assessment. First is increased ownership of students over their own learning. A benefit of using peer assessment and also self-assessment is that students are more likely to be motivated in seeking the necessary support to improve their own learning, since they have information regarding what they need to do next, because they are their own assessors. The interaction among students during the period of providing feedback to each other involves students using language that is shared and easily understood. That is their own colleagues, so they know the language they understood and they can provide feedback as such. The second is that the use of peer assessment has the potential of changing the classroom dynamics. Okay. So in this, that is, instead of students always waiting for teachers to tell them what to do, an increasing using of this technique in your classroom can clue students as to what is expected of them, thereby increasing their own level of involvement and also reducing the distance that tends to exist between the teacher and you, the students. Okay, and that is another advantages of the peer or reason for engaging students in peer assessment. The third one is, once students get to understand this practice, they are more likely to be motivated to learn, since they acquire the capability to monitor their own learning, that is metacognition, and become less dependent on teachers. So with the increasing student voice, the classroom dynamic changes from one where the teacher is the source of authoritarian leadership on what is right or wrong, to an environment of mutual cooperation. Okay, so this actually involves mutual cooperation rather than teacher being authority for that class. We have ways of using peer assessment in class. One strategy suggested in using peer assessment in classrooms is the use of the traffic light icons that was cited in Black et al. 2003. They said that traffic light has 3 colors: green, amber, and red. In grading or providing feedback to peers or to self, students can use green, amber, and red to indicate aspects of their work they have good partial or relatively or little understanding respectively. And so you read more about this, how to use the red lights in this form of assessment. Read more in your course material. Very interesting. Suggestions for improving self and peer assessment. First one is the need for transparency. The criteria for evaluating student work as either good or not so good need to be known by all students, the assessor and the assessed. This means that scoring rubrics, that the marking scheme should clearly detail what idea practice is being tested, and this will make it transparent to all students. Importance of teamwork. In order for peer assessment to be effective, there is a need for collaboration among team members and the class as a whole. This is crucial within group and during whole class discussions. So for the whole class discussion, it's very important. So as the saying goes, if you want it to work fast, then you go alone. However, if you want to go far, you go together. So teamwork is very important. It is when students have acquired the habit and skills of collaboration and receiving critique from peers that they will be willing to receive feedback from peers to support their own learning. This technique only works to the extent that students are willing to critique each other's work and be open about their observations. So it's very important, teamwork. The next is purpose of assessment. Purpose of assessment. Teachers should remind students about the purpose of assigned tasks and the criteria for assessing their work. This will help focus students on what they need to do, either their goals or aims, in terms of individual plans in working towards meeting those goals. So this has the benefit of helping students take control over their own learning, thereby learning to become independent learners. So, and that should be the purpose. In this section, if you look at peer assessment, we have also looked at importance to engage students in peer assessment and also challenges associated with the use of self and peer assessment in the mathematics classroom.